There is a kind of strength that never needs to raise its voice, a mind that does not chase every emotion, a presence that cannot be pulled into chaos. This is the Stoic ideal, not in isolation from life, but in full engagement with it. The Stoics trained themselves to move through the world without being moved by every ripple on its surface. Their goal was not to suppress their humanity, it was to refine it, to anchor it, to become unshakable. To react is to give power away. To respond with clarity is to reclaim it. When you learn how to meet events without agitation, you take responsibility for your own mind. The Stoics called this inner mastery. It is not given to you, it is earned. This video outlines 5 ways to train yourself to never react. Each one is a discipline, each one is a practice. They are not abstract ideals, they are daily decisions. Each principle, when understood and lived, will teach you how to act with clarity under pressure. Let us begin. Chapter 1. Pause before movement. The first discipline is to pause. Pausing is not the absence of action, it is the creation of space. Before movement, before speech, before assumption, pause. This simple act creates distance between stimulus and response. It prevents the automatic behaviors that are usually driven by emotion. It allows the mind to see clearly, to measure the moment, and to act on reason instead of reflex. The Stoics trained this principle deliberately. They studied the space between thought and reaction. They noticed that the mind does not leap by force, it leaps by habit. Every judgment starts as a small suggestion. Every emotion starts as a whisper. If you grab onto that whisper and run with it, the emotion controls the action. If you let it pass without engagement, the mind retains its stillness. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that the mind has the power to withdraw and to wait. The mind can stop itself. The mind can observe instead of obey. This was not a theory to him, it was a strategy. In his private writings, he urged himself to remain still, even in distress. He understood that silence is often more powerful than speech, and that the first thought is rarely the most accurate one. The pause is not just a break in motion, it is the return of leadership to the self. When you pause, you take control of your attention. You choose to observe instead of react. The insult can still land, the chaos can still happen, but you remain the one holding the steering wheel. The delay becomes a form of self-defense. It keeps your energy from being hijacked by things outside of your control. This discipline must be trained in ordinary moments. Do not wait for extreme pressure to practice stillness. Start with daily events. When you are interrupted, pause. When someone disagrees with you, pause. When you feel the tension in a room, pause. These small acts of restraint build the foundation for steadiness in larger moments. You are conditioning yourself to act by choice, not by impulse. You can reinforce this habit with structure. Count to 3 before replying to anything emotionally charged. In heated moments, count to 5. In serious conflict, count to 10. If your body feels tense, walk away and breathe. If your mind feels flooded, sit down and close your eyes for a moment. These are not acts of withdrawal, they are acts of preparation. You are stabilizing the mind before making a decision. When you pause, you allow your thoughts to organize. You give your awareness room to rise above the noise. Most reactions are regretted because they are launched without thought. By pausing, you prevent regret. You protect your dignity. You separate yourself from the chaos of automatic responses. This separation becomes a kind of internal shelter, a mental stronghold that emotion cannot enter without permission. To apply this consistently, create rituals around your pause. Before answering messages, take one full breath. Before speaking in disagreement, slow your voice. Before walking into a difficult conversation, review your intention. These small moments add structure. They prevent confusion. They remind you that your words carry weight and your silence carries power. The pause is not weakness. It is preparation. It does not stop action. It strengthens it. Without it, you are carried by impulse. With it, you become a person who chooses rather than reacts. This builds trust in yourself. It builds presence. It creates the habit of stillness under pressure. The pause is the gate. On one side is reaction. On the other is authority. Each moment you pause, you walk through that gate. You enter the space where clear decisions can be made. Let this be your first training. Delay the jump. Delay the reply. Delay the judgment. Observe your breath. Feel the tension, but do not follow it. Stand in the pause and reclaim the moment. This is where control begins. This is how stillness becomes real. This is the first way to never react. Chapter 2. Separate the event from the interpretation. The second discipline is to separate the event from your interpretation of the event. The Stoics observed how easily the mind adds commentary to experience. They saw how quickly the mind takes a neutral event and turns it into a personal attack, a disaster, or a moral failure. They trained themselves to slow down this process. Their goal was to see what actually happened without the added narrative. Epictetus taught that it is not the thing itself that causes disturbance, it is the opinion you form about it. An insult is not painful by nature. A delay is not offensive by design. A look from someone is not a judgment in itself. The disturbance appears when the mind attaches meaning to the experience. That attachment, when left unexamined, creates suffering. Suppose someone speaks to you in a harsh tone. The event is simple. Sound was made. Words were said. A voice carried certain volume and force. Everything beyond that is interpretation. When you tell yourself that you were disrespected, you create a new event in the mind. When you think they intended harm, you introduce a layer of suspicion. When you feel the need to protect your pride, the internal story becomes more important than the external facts. The Stoic method is to return to the facts. Remove the interpretation. Keep only what is observed. A person spoke. Words were used. The body heard them. The mind noticed them. That is the full truth. Everything else is opinion. The judgment that follows can either lead to reaction or to stillness, depending on how closely you examine it. This practice requires conscious attention. It is easy to act on first impressions. It is easy to believe every thought. But belief should be tested, not assumed. Ask yourself, what exactly happened? What did I add? What did I assume? These questions clear away distortion. They put you in contact with what is real. Emotion often follows interpretation. If you believe someone attacked you, anger rises. If you believe you are losing control, fear follows. If you believe you were made to look weak, pride demands a reaction. These emotions are not rooted in the event. They are rooted in your perception of it. By changing the perception, you change the emotional response. You can apply this principle to every situation. When traffic slows, do not label it a problem. It is movement at a slower pace. When a plan changes, do not assume failure. It is a shift in direction. When someone disagrees with you, do not interpret it as rejection. It is an expression of difference. This kind of framing does not deny reality. It describes it without distortion. This discipline creates freedom. You become less reactive. You regain control over what enters your inner world. The opinions of others no longer dictate your mood. You stop confusing the surface of events with their substance. You see with accuracy instead of assumption. Train this skill by writing. At the end of the day, recall one event that triggered a reaction. Describe it in simple terms. Then write the thoughts you attach to it. Separate what was done from what you believed about it. This practice sharpens awareness. It teaches you how often emotion is built on interpretation rather than fact. This habit builds mental discipline. It teaches you to question automatic thinking. You begin to notice how much of your pain is self-created. You reduce unnecessary stress. You increase the quality of your attention. Interpretation is a function of the mind. It can be trained to see clearly. Clarity is a decision. When you separate what happened from what you think it means, you create space. In that space, you gain the power to respond instead of react. This is the second way to never react. See the event. See the story you added. Then remove the story. What remains is calm. What remains is truth. What remains is control. Chapter 3. Master the delay of emotion. The third way to never react is to master the delay of emotion. The Stoics understood that emotion is not a command. It is a signal. It is a reflection of how the mind has judged an event. It does not require obedience. It invites reflection. Seneca warned that anger, in particular, removes judgment and balance. It fills the mind with noise. It creates a false sense of certainty. It removes the space for reasoning. Emotion arises from perception. The mind sees something and evaluates it. This evaluation produces a feeling. That feeling gains energy and demands action. But if the feeling is accepted without question, the action that follows is often blind. The Stoics refused to allow emotion to take control of decision-making. They chose to observe it. They allowed it to surface, but they did not hand control to it. You will feel anger. You will feel sadness. You will feel the pull of pride, fear, frustration, or shame. The presence of emotion is not the problem. The problem is when emotion directs the behavior without being examined. Stoic discipline trains you to delay the bridge between emotion and action. You create a gap. That gap is your protection. In that gap, you ask, what is this feeling telling me? What judgment produced it? Is that judgment accurate? Is this the right time to respond? Do I understand the full picture? These questions help the mind return to balance. The emotion may still be strong, but it no longer controls the body or the voice. This delay is not passive. It is active mental work. You are slowing your physical reaction while increasing your internal awareness. You are watching the feeling build, but you are not acting on it. This trains endurance. It builds trust in your ability to remain grounded under pressure. Practice this delay in ordinary life. When someone cuts in front of you, notice the anger rise. Let it rise, but say nothing. When someone interrupts you, feel the irritation, but hold your posture. When someone speaks harshly, let your face remain calm. Let your breath remain slow. Remind yourself that the emotion is temporary, that you are still in charge. This form of training must begin before crisis appears. Daily routines offer the best field for mental preparation. Pay close attention to where your emotions usually surface. Study your habits under stress. Identify what events cause you to tense up, raise your voice, or shut down. These are the conditions that weaken your clarity. You are not simply observing behavior. You are building awareness of your internal patterns. What kind of situations challenge your patience? What kind of words trigger your defensiveness? What kinds of people tend to provoke your irritation? Begin with these questions. When you understand your emotional landscape, you reduce the chance of surprise. The mind gains anticipation. This makes emotion less aggressive. A reaction that is expected loses intensity. This does not remove the feeling, but it gives you lead time. That lead time becomes control. The delay becomes easier when your mind is already prepared for what usually disturbs it. In conversation, structure is a tool that makes this possible. Structure gives the emotion a place to pause before it leaks into behavior. Use your breath as a marker. When you notice tension in your chest or throat, pause and draw one slow breath. When your voice wants to rise, lower it instead. Sit deeper in your seat. Loosen the muscles around your jaw and eyes. These small adjustments signal the mind to return to control. Use clear, neutral language to gain time. Say, "Let me get back to you." Say, "I need to think about this." Say, "I understand what you're saying." Each of these phrases serves as a buffer. They stop escalation. They protect your direction. These are habits of someone who does not fear emotional reaction, but who does not obey it either. This posture builds a quiet form of authority. You show others that your actions are guided by stability, not by mood. You set the tone. You create an environment where measured thought is respected. When others speak with emotion, you do not imitate them. You stay grounded. That consistency makes others take notice. It builds influence without pressure. It protects your mind from outside control. Delaying emotion is a way to preserve your principles. When emotion is strong, values are vulnerable. A single sentence said in anger can weaken your credibility. A careless action taken under pressure can damage your reputation. By stepping back, you protect the work you've already done to build character. You defend your progress from emotional collapse. When reaction is delayed, your internal clarity returns. You begin to remember what matters. You remember your goals. You see that temporary emotion is not worth sacrificing long-term direction. This clarity leads to wise action. The behavior that follows is based on understanding, not momentum. This turns emotional force into focused strength. To strengthen this capacity, make reflection a daily ritual. Choose one moment from your day where emotion appeared. Write down what you felt. Describe what you did. Identify where you succeeded in delaying. Note where you failed. Then plan a better response. With each day of review, the pattern of reaction becomes easier to interrupt. You develop skill in self-restraint through conscious repetition. This practice rewires your approach to difficult situations. You begin to greet challenge without collapse. You understand your emotions without rushing to obey them. You create enough space for wisdom to operate. Emotion no longer distorts the moment. It becomes a signal, a message, one that you can read carefully and respond to deliberately. You do not lose your voice. You gain precision in how you use it. You do not erase your emotions. You train them to flow through you without directing you. This is emotional discipline. This is the state of internal order the Stoics aimed for. To master the delay of emotion is to hold command over yourself. This command is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is steady. It is invisible to the untrained. But it shows in every word you say, every silence you choose, and every decision you make under pressure. This is the third way to never react. You face the wave. You remain upright. Then you act with intention. Chapter 4. Train your inner witness. To never react, you must cultivate an inner witness, an observing part of the mind that sees what is happening without being swept into it. This part of you remains still while the rest of the world moves. It does not comment. It does not take sides. It simply sees. This awareness stands behind your thoughts, watching each one arrive and leave. It is present in the background, always available, but often unused. The Stoics trained this ability through reflection and focused attention. Marcus Aurelius described what he called the view from above. It is a mental exercise in which you imagine yourself rising above your current situation and looking at it from a higher perspective. This exercise changes how you relate to the moment. It creates distance between you and the thought or emotion. You are no longer consumed by the event. You are witnessing it from a place of perspective. This perspective removes distortion. It reminds you that most events are smaller than they appear. It corrects the habit of making the moment feel larger than your capacity to deal with it. It reduces the likelihood of acting impulsively because you are seeing things with clarity and scale. The inner witness becomes the anchor that keeps you from being pulled into extremes. This inner witness is not passive, it is fully alert. It notices the first tension in the jaw before a word is spoken. It notices the change in breath before anger forms into speech. It watches the images forming in the mind before fear takes hold. The witness is not caught in the content. It does not react to the story. It simply notices. This is a skill. It is built through daily practice. Begin by sitting in silence. Close your eyes. Let thoughts arise. Do not engage them. Label them. Thought. Let them go. Return to the breath. Then repeat. Over time, you will begin to recognize the patterns. Some thoughts return often. Some carry emotion. Some are neutral. None of them are facts. They are mental events. You are not required to act on any of them. Carry this practice into your day. Observe your movements. Observe your speech. Observe your reactions. Catch the small moment before you speak. Catch the shift in posture. Catch the desire to interrupt or defend. Observe these impulses without acting on them. This makes the witness stronger. You become more conscious of the choices you are about to make. When someone criticizes you, observe your heartbeat. Observe your breath. Stay silent. Let the inner witness hold your attention while the moment passes. When someone interrupts you, watch the impulse to cut them off. Observe it without moving. Keep your voice steady. This is how you build inner stability. You are not shutting yourself down. You are directing your attention to the part of you that does not move. When this habit becomes natural, you develop a quiet discipline. People will notice your calm. They may not know what causes it, but they will sense it. You do not rush. You do not overreact. You are present, yet composed. This presence builds trust. It builds control. You become a person who can hold space, who does not collapse under pressure, who does not seek to dominate a room, but does not shrink in one either. To sharpen this awareness, remove distractions from your daily rhythm. Spend time without noise. Leave the phone in another room. Walk without headphones. Eat without multitasking. These moments of quiet increase your sensitivity to thought and feeling. They give your inner witness room to operate. They help you detect the internal movement before it becomes external behavior. The Stoics viewed this faculty as central to philosophy. It is how you turn awareness into strength. It is how you learn to step back before stepping forward. The witness gives you the ability to respond with precision. You no longer react to the first feeling or the first thought. You wait. You assess. You act with intention. The inner witness does not stop you from feeling. It gives you the space to feel without losing clarity. It holds you steady while emotion moves through you. This is what makes a Stoic unshakable. It is not the absence of pain or conflict. It is the presence of stable awareness within it. To never react, you must learn to observe without attachment. You must train the quiet part of yourself to stay awake while the rest of the world pulls for attention. This is the fourth way. You do not fight noise by making more noise. You outlast it with stillness. You train the part of yourself that does not speak, does not panic, and does not collapse. This is the strength of the inner witness. Chapter 5. Practice voluntary discomfort. The fifth way to never react is to practice voluntary discomfort. This is the Stoic method of building mental and physical resilience through repeated exposure to controlled forms of difficulty. When discomfort is chosen, the mind learns to face it directly. It no longer views discomfort as a threat. It becomes familiar with challenge. The element of fear is reduced. Surprise is removed. You gain stability by conditioning the body and mind to remain steady under stress. Seneca encouraged deliberate acts of hardship. He practiced wearing simple clothing, eating plain food, and sleeping without comfort. His purpose was to train freedom. When you face discomfort by choice, You learn that survival is possible without luxury. The fear of loss loses its control. The reaction that fear produces begins to weaken. The mind becomes quiet under pressure because it no longer views pressure as dangerous. This discipline is mental preparation. Difficulty does not wait for ideal conditions. It arrives without warning. If the body and mind are only trained in comfort, they will collapse when pressure appears. Voluntary discomfort is a way to reverse this weakness. It teaches the nervous system to remain calm during physical or emotional strain. It creates a buffer between sensation and reaction. Discomfort becomes a signal for awareness rather than panic. When you train this regularly, you gain access to strength that is often hidden during ease. The mind begins to identify limits and move through them. Fear is reduced because the body learns to endure. Endurance becomes proof that you can hold your posture in difficulty. Begin with light exposure. Sleep on the floor for a few nights each month. Take shorter or colder showers. Go without snacks. Carry heavy objects for distance. Skip social media on certain days. Choose stillness instead of stimulation. These small practices show the body that comfort is optional. You stay functional without it. You stay clear-minded through it. These exercises also build self-respect. They give evidence to your discipline. Each small act of restraint becomes a lesson in control. Each decision to abstain from comfort proves that you are not led by desire. Each completed act of discomfort is an internal message. I can do this without complaint. These small messages accumulate. They create a foundation of internal confidence that cannot be borrowed or faked. It is built from proof that you have chosen the harder path and endured it with composure. As these proofs stack, your posture changes. You begin to carry yourself with more steadiness, not out of pride, but from tested certainty. The emotions that once pushed you around begin to lose their urgency. They still appear, but they do not feel urgent. The breath remains steady. The voice stays calm. The hands do not tremble. The posture stays upright. These signals affect how others perceive you. They also affect how your mind perceives your own capability. You are no longer reacting to the environment. You are responding to it with precision. You remain clear in moments that once caused confusion. This practice also shifts identity. You become the kind of person who does hard things. You begin to associate yourself with effort, not ease. You seek challenge instead of avoiding it. This identity shift reinforces consistency. You stop seeking relief as the primary goal. You start using pressure to reveal truth. This new sense of identity becomes part of your internal compass. You begin to feel most alive and centered when doing something difficult. You trust yourself to face discomfort without hesitation. You start viewing challenge as your natural environment. You develop pride in discipline, not in display. As you repeat difficult actions, you no longer ask whether something is comfortable. You ask whether it builds strength. The question changes from, "Is this easy?" to, "Is this necessary?" You are no longer controlled by mood. You move by decision. You look for actions that sharpen focus, not activities that protect comfort. You stop building your schedule around ease and begin structuring it around impact. You also begin to filter your relationships through this new identity. You prefer conversations that include honesty and effort. You are drawn to people who take responsibility rather than avoid it. You lose interest in distractions that once consumed your attention. You notice who avoids difficulty and who meets it. This awareness shifts your priorities. You align your energy with those who are moving in the same direction. You pay more attention to actions than to words. You are less impressed by status and more interested in character. You start seeking people who challenge you to grow and who model the same values you are trying to build. This shift in your social direction brings clarity to your environment. You no longer feel the need to explain your discipline. You stop justifying your priorities. You keep your standards, and those who do not share them naturally drift away. The people who remain are those who understand structure, those who live with purpose, and those who respect restraint. This creates a circle of alignment. You reinforce each other through discipline, through silence, through action. Voluntary discomfort becomes a constant test of will. It is not a single event. It is a way of sharpening the mind through daily friction. You wake up earlier than you want to. You hold posture when your body wants to quit. You listen without interrupting. You train the habit of doing what is necessary, even when it feels inconvenient. This repeated effort builds a kind of calm discipline. You do not need reward. You are led by the act itself. You trust in the process because it keeps you grounded. You begin to act without waiting for ideal conditions. You stop checking how you feel before doing what needs to be done. The habit of consistent discipline removes internal negotiation. You no longer need to convince yourself. The structure you've built becomes the authority. You become loyal to it. You protect it. This creates self-trust. You know you will show up because you've already shown up under discomfort. When hardship strikes, the mind does not collapse. You do not panic because you have rehearsed difficulty. You have practiced fatigue. You have practiced loss of comfort. You have practiced inner control while facing outside tension. You know what to expect when things get harder. You expect challenge, so it does not shake you. You stay focused on the next step. You stay centered in the work. You have also trained your physical habits to match your mental intention. Your breathing slows when pressure rises. Your hands remain still. Your face stays relaxed. These are signs of inner strength. You are not signaling power through force. You are showing strength through control. Others see this and feel it. You become a steady presence not by words, but through your energy. This preparation gives you an internal shield. You protect your values when emotion rises. You protect your direction when chaos appears. Your reactions become choices, not habits. The foundation you've built does not shake when plans shift. Your calm does not depend on comfort. You are steady through structure, not through circumstances. This reliability becomes your identity. It defines how others see you and how you see yourself. You begin to understand that discipline is a lifestyle. It is made of repetition and self-correction. It is not temporary. It becomes how you operate in all conditions. It shows up in how you speak, how you sit, how you plan, and how you execute. It becomes the pattern behind your decisions and the shape of your behavior under pressure. You stop seeing discipline as a task. You see it as the framework through which your life functions. The details of your day reflect the structure of your thinking. You bring order to the day, to your speech, to your movement, to your response. You pay attention to how you wake up, how you begin tasks, how you interact with others. Each moment becomes a reflection of your code. You reduce waste in your actions. You conserve energy by directing it instead of scattering it. Discipline turns chaos into simplicity. It is not rigid. It adapts with clarity. It knows what to focus on and what to ignore. The world becomes louder, but you remain simple. You stop reacting to noise. You tune it out. You focus on what matters. The practice of restraint becomes natural. You do not respond to every emotion or every demand. You respond to what aligns with your principles. You conserve your words. You remove excess movement. You act when action is needed. This quiet order gives you space to think and strength to execute. You move slowly through complexity. You are not rushed by confusion. You take your time. You study the situation before speaking. You check your motives before acting. You refine your judgment by slowing down enough to examine it. You stop chasing outcomes and begin managing your effort. You set a pace that allows you to remain stable across difficulty. You remove the need to constantly prove yourself. You cut through noise with precision. You ask simple questions. Is this useful? Does this build strength? Does this align with my role? These questions bring clarity. You see patterns where others see problems. You stay still when others move impulsively. You take action where others hesitate. This difference becomes noticeable. It is not based on talent. It is built through structure. As comfort loses its grip, you stop searching for ease in every moment. You stop avoiding the ordinary forms of effort that life demands. You begin to accept tension without resistance. You understand that the removal of difficulty is not the goal. The proper use of it is. You approach difficulty as material. You examine it as a craftsman examines a tool. You do not ask to be free from it. You ask how to shape it into growth. You stop reacting to inconvenience as if it were harm. You stop labeling discomfort as failure. You approach it with objectivity. You treat it like a test. You measure how you respond. You notice when your habits slip. You correct them. You track your behavior and adjust. Difficulty becomes a source of feedback, not a source of frustration. You see difficulty as information. You study it. You examine what it reveals about your habits, your reactions, and your blind spots. You use it to adjust. You treat stress as a signal, not a verdict. You ask what the pressure is teaching you. You remain calm enough to extract the lesson. You develop the ability to stay mentally alert while the emotion fades. You do not see pain as an attack. You see it as an opportunity to practice control. You are not surprised by hardship. You expect it. You use it. You extract clarity from it. It becomes part of your training. It shows you where you are still reactive. It shows you where your standards are unclear. You record the lesson and repeat the practice. This changes how you view problems. They become training. They become routine. You do not dramatize them. You study them, move through them, and build skill within them. Each new difficulty gives you another opportunity to measure your posture and test your system. You track your alignment by how steady you remain under strain. The more friction you accept, the clearer your principles become. You stop relying on reminders or emotional inspiration to do what is necessary. You follow your code through repetition. You act based on what is essential, not what is easy. You hold yourself to a higher standard because you have proven that you can meet it. Each repetition removes confusion. You no longer shift with your mood or circumstances. You operate by a foundation that has been tested. You do not need to be reminded of your values. You live by them. They are visible in how you behave when no one is watching. They appear in how you treat small responsibilities. They are shown in the way you respond to problems that don't benefit you. You stop speaking about values and start living them. You stop negotiating with your habits. You align with what you know must be done. You do not need the approval of others to hold your standards. You measure your success by your consistency. You track your progress by your ability to remain aligned during stress. You remain unaffected by praise and unshaken by doubt. You are not acting for reaction. You are building what lasts. You do not lower the standard to fit the moment. You hold the standard and meet it. You apply your values because they are necessary. They provide structure when things get unpredictable. They give you a clear reference when decision-making becomes unclear. They remove hesitation. You build your actions on what you have already proven to yourself in training. You do not need permission to be disciplined. You carry it with you. Every decision becomes a reflection of the clarity you've built through effort. You stop guessing what is right. You know it by doing it daily. The smallest actions, how you eat, how you speak, how you prepare, reflect your discipline. Each choice becomes a mirror. It shows whether your system is intact or broken. You read it with honesty and adjust quickly. You no longer hope to be disciplined. You have trained it. You do not rely on motivation or emotional highs. You trust your system because it has held under strain. You do not doubt it in crisis because it was built under control. Your habits are not reactive. They are reliable. They allow you to focus on execution without second-guessing your path. You do not chase what brings relief. You pursue what strengthens clarity. You stop running toward anything that numbs the pressure. You direct your attention toward what sharpens your mind and strengthens your posture. You remove the habit of escaping when challenged. You replace it with the habit of facing what needs to be solved. You simplify your life around action and remove distractions that create confusion. You avoid the trap of chasing comfort disguised as reward. You question what you reach for when tired. You replace indulgence with reflection. You delay unnecessary consumption. You make space between desire and action. That space becomes control. It turns reactions into deliberate movement. It reduces the need for stimulation and replaces it with useful discomfort. You seek feedback. You listen to what challenge reveals. You let the pressure point out where you are still disorganized. You learn from it without defending yourself. You write down the pattern. You use it to revise your system. You correct yourself before being corrected by results. You seek silence. You treat it as training. It strengthens your ability to focus. It helps you observe your thoughts. It teaches you to hold your position without needing noise or distraction. You use it to recover, to analyze, and to return to your structure. You seek challenge. You don't avoid resistance. You look for opportunities to practice the core of your discipline in real conditions. You accept the strain of responsibility. You take on what tests you. You remain calm under pressure because you are familiar with it. You know how to breathe through it. You have rehearsed the response. You keep your life focused on what builds depth and removes noise. You are no longer drawn to shallow rewards. You simplify your routines. You give energy to fewer things. You protect your ability to concentrate. You hold your direction with precision. Each decision builds a stronger link between who you are and what you do. You stop separating thought from behavior. You make sure they match. You make fewer promises. You follow through on all of them. This makes your speech cleaner. This makes your actions more consistent. You develop an internal system where every small task carries your full attention. You create alignment through daily execution. It does not happen by chance. It happens by pattern. You refine it in small ways. You fix what is out of place. You do not let things slide. You correct them. You simplify your goals until they match your actions. This clarity gives you direction. Your values are no longer stored in memory. They are stored in action. They are recorded in how you start your day. They are seen in how you treat your commitments. You build them into motion. You make them real through repetition. Others can see them. You can trust them. They are not ideas. They are behaviors. This creates peace. The conflict between what you believe and what you do fades. You stop wasting energy explaining yourself. You no longer apologize for your priorities. You do not carry the weight of inconsistency. You free your mind from internal contradiction. You develop a rhythm between thought and action. This steadiness shows in how you move and in how you handle resistance. Others begin to feel your clarity before you speak. You no longer second-guess what you've already proven through action. The mind becomes more direct. You stop circling around decisions. You make them with confidence. You apply them without hesitation. You track the result, revise the method, and continue. You act with economy. You stop searching for perfect conditions. You simplify the process and increase your pace. You reduce friction by knowing exactly what needs to happen next. This rhythm becomes your strength. It removes mental clutter. It gives you energy to focus where it matters. You begin to approach problems through process rather than emotion. You define outcomes clearly and break them into steps. You eliminate noise in your thinking. You study the parts of the process that slow you down. You refine the structure. You avoid urgent shortcuts. You build slow power. This directness replaces indecision with discipline. The path forward becomes more visible. You remove unnecessary options. You stop spending effort on false opportunities. You reduce movement that leads nowhere. You focus on execution. You protect your time. You organize your space. You cut distractions before they grow. You measure progress by completion. You return to the essentials. You no longer try to do everything. You do what is necessary. This clarity gives you force. It increases your ability to follow through. You no longer drift. You move by design. You begin each day with intent. You end each day with review. You operate from principle, not emotion. You adapt without breaking your structure. You use each moment to reinforce the system. You stay present in your choices. You keep your promises, even in silence. You complete your responsibilities without complaint. You remove what weakens your focus. You reduce noise. You increase control. You finish what you start. This is how your life becomes a reflection of discipline. Your daily actions prove what you believe. Your habits show your direction. Your structure becomes visible. It is not announced, it is shown. Others observe your rhythm and understand your values through your conduct. The way you begin your day, the way you complete tasks, the way you interact under stress, these form the visible pattern of discipline. You become known for reliability without self-promotion. You develop a calm presence that invites respect, not attention. This structure becomes your foundation. It gives shape to the hours and to the decisions that fill them. It guides your energy. It protects your time. You no longer need inspiration to act. You act through design. This design creates momentum that holds even when external support fades. You remain composed because your system is intact. It becomes your anchor under pressure. You fall back into your structure, not into panic. You respond with consistency. You do not scramble for new answers when tested. You rely on the habits that have already been proven. You recognize pressure as part of the work, not a deviation from it. You continue moving forward with deliberate pace and steady focus. It becomes your power under stress. You stay productive during chaos. You stay thoughtful when others rush. You maintain control over your words and over your posture. People turn to you in disorder because you remain clear. You become useful where others become distracted. You carry authority not through noise, but through direction. You do not break under demand. You adapt while remaining centered. This is the reward of training. The practice becomes identity. The effort becomes stability. The repetition becomes recognition. You develop self-respect through consistency. You build inner peace by reducing contradiction. You stop shifting and start holding. Your direction is internal. Your strength is maintained through each ordinary action. You train for difficulty before it arrives. You hold your values while others retreat. You no longer react. You respond with intent. Your delay is measured. Your decisions are quiet. Your actions are anchored. You carry the discipline forward in every situation. It becomes who you are. It shapes how you think, how you move, and how you endure. This is how strength is formed. This is how a Stoic leads, first within, then through example.